Hi, Jack. It's been an interesting pre-finals week, including ugly sweaters and silent movies in the form of plays. But what I've decided to talk about today has nothing to do with that. It has to do with Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Time is a TV show, for those of you who don't know, and you should all watch it and be frustrated with me and my friend who spent an hour this week just ranting about this TV show. If you do watch this TV show and you have not watched the last two episodes of the mid-season finale two-parter, whatever, do not watch this video because I might reveal something and that's a total jerk move, but yeah. If you don't watch the show, you should watch the show, and if you've already watched the show, you should know my frustration in the fact that the second to last episode, the first part of the mid-season finale, was a total letdown. You have two ice queens, you have the main girl who, is discovering all these new powers about herself, and, she's got powers, and then you have everyone in the town, all of a sudden, their worst selves. I don't know about you, but if I was at my very worst self, there would not be a school left here. If I was at my worst self, there would be a lot of people who would just have been thrown through windows. There's a word for that, being thrown through a window. Defenestration. Just thought I'd let you know. But of course, in Once Upon a Time, they're just, kind of like wrestling in the streets. I mean, Granny had a crossbow and nothing. There weren't impaled people, there weren't windows broken, there weren't buildings on fire. Like, why weren't there buildings on fire? And of course, the evil queen, who, was totally rocking with her, old evil queen outfit, and, she was in this, fight sequence with Snow White, and, you want her to just be evil. And she wasn't evil. Like, we've seen the evil queen at her very worst self. Now that she's returned to her old self and even went to a mirror and was like, I miss you. There should be fireballs hurled at people. She should have been in the streets fighting with the two ice queens and Emma's new powers. And then there would have been like fire and snow and lightning in the streets. And then there would have been buildings on fire. And, and then maybe the Ice Queen would have realized that, now, I can't force people to love me. It doesn't work that way. You can't just put ribbons on people's hands and expect them to just, love you, because if that worked, I would have a lot of people in love with me. So, I was highly, highly, highly disappointed with the first part of the mid-season finale, and you should all be disappointed too. One thing about Once Upon a Time is that it has a very interesting concept. It takes characters from Disney films and characters from other fairy tales not related to Disney films, and it just throws them all together in this world that's kind of our world but kind of not our world, and there's magic, and there's always a price for magic. That's a consistent theme. There's always a price for magic. They've intermingled, and it's so interesting how they incorporate stories like Mickey Mouse. It was in an episode, and I was just so proud of the writers because they incorporated Mickey Mouse into the story, and it was just awesome. Awesome. And then another spoiler, he dies. But Once Upon a Time has a very, very interesting concept. But sometimes the episodes just frustrate me. Because Prince Charming is supposed to be this, gallivant hero, and he saves the princess, and, he does all these things. And, good for them for creating Snow White as a strong female independent character. And I love that so much. So much. The powerful women in the series are amazing and flawless. But all the men are weak. All of them. All of them. All of them. There is not one man who is just like, yes, I am strong, except for Grumpy the Dwarf, because he's awesome, and he does not take crap from anyone. But then all the men are always weak. They're strong. Emma falls in love with them because, yeah, she needs a strong man. She's not going to waste her time on some weak guy who can't keep up with her. But every time there's a strong man that she falls in love with, he dies. He dies. Or now, with Hook, he's about to die. So we'll see how that goes, if, they'll keep him around or if they'll just kill him, because he's a strong man and we can't have any strong men in this script, apparently. They also did a promo for the next half of the season that will premiere in the spring, and it's like all these like evil women, because more strong women are just going to be added to the mix, which is awesome. But a decent guy who's not weak would be okay, but whatever. They had a promo, and like out of this like magical door pops Cruella de Vil. I don't know how she fits into the mix, because she doesn't really have magical powers, so I mean the evil queen could like knock her out in like a snap of her fingers, and so could Emma, because Emma has powers. But whatever, we'll see how that goes. We'll see what Cruella de Vil does, but she seems like the leader of these like band of evil women, which would be an awesome band actually. And then Maleficent came out, and it was really interesting because it didn't look like the Maleficent they had before, who they killed. But of course, no one stays dead in Once Upon a Time. It doesn't happen. Rumpelstiltskin came back, so Maleficent could obviously come back. Totally. And Ursula is now a part of the story. They kind of allude to the fact that, next season's going to be all about these 3 new evil women. I'm worried how this is going to pan out, because, they could do so many great things, but they could also do so many horrible things. I was talking to my friend, and I was saying that if I was writing Once Upon a Time, the second half of the season would be a lot like Mean Girls, where Regina sees all these new evil queens, and the evil queens are like, we need to make her evil again. So with some magic spells or potions or whatever, they bring the evil out of Regina again, and then Regina becomes the queen of the evil queens. There's magic, and there's this tyrannical ruler Regina with her 3 sidekicks. But then her 3 sidekicks get really jealous, because they were like, well, we brought the evil out of her, so we should get some credit, and we should be in charge, not her. So they try to kill her because they're jealous. But then Regina is really like, surprise, I have not been evil this whole time. I was just figuring out your weaknesses. And then there's a 3-part finale of the season where she goes after the 3 evil women one at a time, and it's just like there's fire and electricity and ice and fighting in the streets, and there's buildings on fire. I really want to see buildings on fire, and it's very disappointing when you have these elemental sorceresses and there's no buildings on fire. So if I was writing as this series, that's what I would contribute. I have spent most of this video ranting about Once Upon a Time because it was just on my mind. And yeah. But you should watch it, because it's good. Yeah, this is really random, but for those of us in college and in high school, if you've already finished your finals, I hate you. But good job, you're done. And if you are like me and Jack and you have finals this week, I wish you all good luck. Jack, I hope you get better, but at the same time, I like that you're sick, because last week when I had no voice and I was sick, you made fun of me, so this is karma. This is karma. Jack, I will see you later. And for the rest of you, see you all next week.